28 years later photos tease the sequel's real main villain. It's not the infected. For nearly 3 decades, the Rage virus has defined the world of 28 days later and 28 weeks later as a nightmarish dystopia fueled by savage, infected humans. But the newly surfaced 28 years later set photos hint that the trilogy's true evolution may be psychological rather than viral. These photos don't just showcase decaying cities or bloodthirsty infected, they reveal a far more chilling antagonist, humanity itself. With Danny Boyle returning to direct and Cillian Murphy rumored to reprise his role as Jim in some capacity, expectations for 28 years later are sky high. But the behind-the-scenes photos now circulating online suggest that the sequel will pivot its focus. Yes, the infected are still out there, grotesque, feral, and deadly, but they may not be the central threat anymore. Instead, the images tease organized militant zones, heavily armed human factions, and ominous visuals of societal hierarchy rebuilt from chaos. The Rage virus may have started the collapse, but the new villain seems to be the world humanity has constructed in its wake. A new world built on fear and control. One of the most striking photos shows a city block fortified with makeshift barriers, barbed wire, and surveillance drones flying overhead. The area is tagged with the insignia of a mysterious organization, not a government, but something resembling a corporate military hybrid. Actors in uniform, not soldiers, but private enforcers, patrol the streets, and their presence immediately draws comparisons to real-world authoritarian regimes and privatized security forces. This isn't just about survival anymore. It's about control. 28 years later appears to suggest that in the long absence of functional governments, powerful groups have risen to claim dominion over the remaining population. Infected zones may be cordoned off, but the price of safety now comes with the loss of freedom. The infected, in all their mindless horror, are predictable. But people, scared, desperate, and armed, are infinitely more dangerous. A society that forgot the cure. Another photo depicts a disturbing scene, a captured infected strapped to a medical gurney inside a tented compound. Scientists hover over it, and in the background, wall charts and maps are covered in frenzied markings. While this could indicate efforts to find a cure, there's a sinister tone to the image, more experimentation than salvation. It suggests that the virus has become commodified or exploited, not eradicated. If the virus is no longer the biggest threat, what does that say about the people who now wield it? There are theories among fans that certain factions in 28 years later may be using the virus as a biological weapon, infecting rival groups to gain territorial advantage. If that's true, the villains aren't the infected anymore. They're the ones choosing to infect. Echoes of Jim's journey. While Cillian Murphy's involvement has yet to be officially confirmed, one blurry set photo has sparked speculation. A man in a tattered military-style coat standing before a burned-out church. The composition of the shot echoes Jim's first steps into the empty streets of London in 28 days later. If this is indeed Jim, his return might symbolize the trilogy coming full circle, not just narratively, but thematically. Jim's character arc began with him waking up to a world destroyed by a virus, but it ended with him realizing that the real monsters weren't always the infected. Remember Major West's compound in the original film? The atrocities committed there were entirely human in origin. The 28 years later set photos seem to be building on that same foundation. It's not just about what's out there, but what's inside us. The infected are the symptom, not the disease. The greatest trick 28 years later may pull is reminding audiences that the Rage virus was never the ultimate antagonist. It was merely a catalyst. In every installment of the cruelty,